Mexico City, June 2025. Shane van Gisbergen wins by over 16 seconds. Not 6/10. Not 2 seconds. 16. The biggest margin of victory the NASCAR Cup Series had seen in more than 15 years. And somehow, he pulled it off while fighting a stomach bug so bad, he was nearly throwing up inside the helmet. The motorsport world called it one of the greatest road course performances NASCAR had ever seen. But just weeks later, the exact same driver, the same number, the same organization, and the same manufacturer was back running outside the top 25 on an oval again. Then it happened again, and again, which brings us to the question nobody at Trackhouse Racing seems comfortable answering right now. Is Shane van Gisbergen actually struggling on ovals? Or is he quietly being let down by the very team that brought him into NASCAR? Because by the end of this video, we're digging through the numbers, the timing, and the internal decisions that paint a picture far more complicated than he just needs more experience. This isn't fan drama. This is data. Before we even talk about politics or team strategy, you need to understand exactly who SVG is. Shane van Gisbergen is not some random international driver who lucked into a few good finishes. He's a three-time Supercars champion, a Bathurst winner, and one of the most naturally gifted racers to ever come out of New Zealand. Then he arrived in NASCAR and shocked the entire garage by winning the Chicago Street Race in his Cup debut back in 2023, something nobody had done in more than 60 years. And it wasn't a fluke. He didn't survive chaos and steal a lucky win. He flat out embarrassed the field. For fans across Australia and New Zealand, SVG became more than just another driver in America. He became the region's flag bearer on the biggest stock car stage in the world. When he wins, fans wake up at impossible hours to watch live. And when he's stuck running 29th on an oval every week, everybody notices. Which is exactly why the "give him more time" narrative isn't convincing anymore. Drivers don't stumble into 5 Cup wins faster than almost anyone since the 1960s. Talent clearly isn't the problem here. So let's open the evidence file. The first thing that jumps off the page is the performance gap inside the same organization. While SVG spent most of the season buried in the midfield of ovals, long-class Shane was regularly putting Trackhouse equipment inside the top 4. Same 7 same overall organization. Completely different outcomes. Then the telemetry started raising even more questions. On several intermediate tracks, SVG consistently lost massive speed on corner exits, sometimes multiple miles per hour every single lap. That doesn't happen because a driver suddenly forgets how to race. That usually points towards setup balance, mechanical grip, or overall car performance. Then came the pit road problems. Loose wheels, costly penalties, mistakes at the worst possible moments. One bad stop can happen to anybody, but when the same car repeatedly loses track position through execution errors while teammates remain clean, people inside the garage start asking questions. And around the same time those frustrations started growing, another storyline quietly entered the picture: Connor Zilisch. That's where this entire story starts getting uncomfortable. Because while SVG was grinding through his rookie season trying to adapt to ovals, Trackhouse was already building excitement around the future. Chastain remained the established veteran. Connor Zilisch quickly became the young American superstar prospect. And suddenly, SVG started feeling less like the centerpiece of the organization and more like the international attraction, helping sell the brand globally. The biggest clue came when Trackhouse revealed its future car plans. SVG would move to the number 97, the number tied to his supercar's identity, while the number 88, the number associated with Chicago, Mexico, Sonoma, and several of his biggest NASCAR moments, was positioned for the young American prospect. Marketing-wise, it made perfect sense. Zilisch is young, American, sponsor-friendly, and viewed as a long-term NASCAR superstar. But the timing created a dangerous question. Was SVG always meant to be the temporary international headline, while the organization quietly built around the younger future star behind the scenes? And look, this isn't about conspiracy theories. Nobody's claiming Trackhouse employees are sabotaging race cars in the middle of the night. That's lazy thinking. But there's a huge difference between active sabotage and institutional priority. NASCAR has always loved the image of the American development pipeline producing the next superstar. A 36-year-old Kiwi arriving from supercars, and immediately beating NASCAR's biggest names on road courses doesn't exactly fit the traditional script. So when resources become limited, when engineering focus shifts, and when future planning begins, who naturally gets prioritized? The established American future star or the older international driver already labeled as a road course specialist? That's the real debate here. And honestly, the results tell the story. SVG won races, big races, dominant races, but his oval program never consistently improved the way championship-level teams usually improve over a full season. That's not entirely on the driver. Here's the scary part for the rest of NASCAR, though. Even with all those struggles, Shane van Gisbergen still managed to become one of the biggest stories in the sport. Which raises the obvious question: what happens if he ever gets a truly elite oval program behind him? Because if organizations like Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, or Team Penske ever decided to fully commit to him, the rest of the garage might have a serious problem on its hands. SVG already proved he can dominate road courses better than almost anybody in modern NASCAR. If the oval consistency ever catches up, suddenly you're looking at a legitimate championship threat. And that's why this entire situation matters so much right now. Because the clock is ticking on the prime years of one of the most talented drivers in the world. The real question is whether Trackhouse Racing truly wants to build around him, or whether they've already chosen a different future.